Good Monday morning, everyone. Glad to have you here. If you're here live, say hello. If you're in the replay, say hello as well, because I'm on every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're watching this as a replay, you can be here live and ask me your questions. This is a live coaching session, and I usually bring a topic just to get us started, just so people have some time to get on. To be here, and also good morning, Nikki. Also to take a moment to be able to write their questions, because I know it takes some time to type, and you might need to give me a little bit of information when you're asking a question. Sometimes people ask a question and it's maybe a little too general, but I'll just let you know that you could ask me a little more if I need a little more information. So if you're here, say hello. I am so grateful for everything. It's been such a rough time since on Thursday. If you missed my live on Thursday, I was spontaneously live on Thursday when I talked about how to ground yourself, because the news is so upsetting and so triggering for all of us, thinking like, how could people do that? And so we really wanted to get you grounded, get you feeling a little better, and people loved it. So if you missed that, go ahead and check it out. But lots have happened in our world since last time we spoke on Monday. And hi, Stanley. And so, what came up a lot for me this past week is intent versus impact. And it could come at a very personal level. Like this is something that we have to look at in ourselves, so that we are more careful on how we treat other people, how we help other people. And also it will help us really understand what we're receiving from other people and why it doesn't work, or what we're seeing of people online or in the media that we don't quite understand. So go ahead, and while I'm talking here, you can type in your questions. If you have any questions about anything, it doesn't have to be about what I'm talking about. It could be about anything. And if you haven't been to my website, and if you haven't gotten my MP3, I have a brand new MP3 about expanding your emotional bandwidth. And so you could go to jodiamon.com/letgo. Just letting go on all the stuff that keeps the clutter, right? All that clutter that we have. We want to release it and learn how to release it, so that we have more bandwidth to be who we're supposed to be in the world, live out our mission, and really be able to not burn ourselves out while we're helping other people. So go ahead and grab that. All right, so intent versus impact. So sometimes we have the best intent, the best intentions, like we really want to help, we really think what we're doing is right, and so we say something to somebody. So let's look at it in the personal. So we say something to somebody that we think is nice, or we think is okay. So telling somebody that, let's see, what's a good example? So when we want to say, you shouldn't let people walk all over you. So if we tell our friend, stop letting people walk all over you, or stop letting such and such person walk all over you, our intentions are so good. Our intentions are to help our friend. We're afraid for them. We're worried about them, or our client maybe, or our child maybe, right? So we're worried about them, and our intention is to help them not get hurt anymore. But what happens also, so the impact is what they feel, what they experience from that. And so the impact is that they could feel judged. They could feel like they're not making their own decisions very good, and you're judging that. They could feel, this is a very simple example, but I'm trying to give you an example. If you think of one, tell me. If you're like, is this what she's talking about? Write it. Because if you intend to be kind or help somebody, but you're giving advice when they didn't ask for advice. You're correcting them when they didn't ask for corrections. You are doing something that they're supposed to do, and you're doing it for them so they feel like you're stepping on their toes. Your intentions are good. But the impact of those, the impact on other people. So a lot of times we don't mean to hurt other people. And you know this, if you've been hurt by others, you know that quite often people have no idea they hurt you. They hurt you and they have no idea. This is why. It's because intentions don't matter. And when you say, you hurt me, they're like, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was trying to help you. And they get really defensive. I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. And they get really defensive and they stop listening to you because they just want you to hear their intentions. And sometimes I had this client last week, and she's young, she's 11. And so her friends, so she really wanted support from her friend of something she was really afraid of. And her friend said, you're going to be okay. But wasn't really validating her fear, but was saying you're going to be okay. And this friend, 11, I mean, she doesn't have, the emotional or the maturity to really understand intention and impact. She thought, I have good intentions. I want to support my friend, and did that. But this girl was really hurt. Now, adults, I would expect a little bit more as adults, especially as people who are helping, so in helping professionals, if you have a friend, a lot of you do, if you have children or grandchildren or some people who come to you, who we all need support in this world. And a lot of times people don't realize the impact of what they're doing, and they just have the intention. And a lot of times they're afraid for their friend, they're afraid for their children, they're afraid for their client, and they give advice that doesn't land or that hurts, or they give suggestions or recommendations or judgments, and they all feel like judgments. So that's the impact. A lot of times people are like, I'm not racist, right? Because their intention is not to be racist. But the impact on some of the stuff that they do is definitely a problem. Right? So they feel so defensive about their intentions, but we really have to embrace the impact that we have on people around us. Now, one more example of this, and please type in your questions if you have any questions about this, about anything. This relates to so many things in our life, so I'm guessing that people might have some questions about this, or else I'm explaining it well enough that nobody has any. All right, so here's another example. I was away. I think I talked about this before, but I went on a retreat. I went on a few retreats before COVID hit. And in some of them, a lot of people were pretty new to their spiritual journey. And so when you're first in the spiritual journey, you're releasing everything. You're releasing this world of form and realizing that you're one with God, and that, that you create your own reality. That's the first half of our spiritual journey. The second half of our spiritual journey is realizing once we open to that, once we realize who we are, that's healing ourselves. Once we do that and we're reborn into this newness, that we're connected and supported and loved and worthy, then we have to ground that back to the earth. We have to take that back and realize that we affect the field around us, that we have impact in this world. And so it's really important. A lot of spiritual teachers do that first half and don't come around to that second half, and they are not taking responsibility for the impact. We affect the field around us. I know that you've heard a lot of times, maybe with gurus saying, no one can hurt you unless you let them. It is true in some ways, but also we're sensitive people. So if we feel someone's negative energy, they are affecting the field, and we could feel that. Then we could do the work of blocking it or getting rid of it or whatever, but they're still affecting the field. And so you have to step into that responsibility for yourself, that if you're not doing anything to help, then the impact is that no one's getting helped. Right? Or if if you don't take responsibility for how you affect the field around you, then you're going to be hurting people that really need your medicine, or you're going to be I don't know. I feel like I hope that really lands and makes sense. I think right now we really need we could know our intentions. And I feel like that's not necessarily a problem. We do know our intentions. Our intentions are mostly good. Even sometimes the people who went to the Capitol, they could say their intentions were good. In their mind, what they thought was real, their intentions were good, but the impact, not good, right? So that makes a huge difference. We have to take responsibility for our impact more than anything. And when someone says you've impacted me in a negative way, when you apologize, they'll say, I didn't mean to. Usually they already know, oh yeah, I was going to tell you. That's right. When I was telling you about that little girl, that 11-year-old, she told her friends, I know you didn't mean to, but this is how it felt. She acknowledged that she knew their intentions were good, and the other girls just kept defending intentions. She said, I know you'd never do something to hurt me on purpose, but this is what happened. And you could see that we do this all the time, even as adults. We say, even if the other person says, I know your intentions are good, the other person's still defending their intentions. Because we just are so in our fear, right? We're so in our fear and that guilt that we hurt somebody when we didn't mean to. It feels so awful. Just take responsibility. It's so much easier for your heart and your soul to take responsibility instead of defend yourself and cause more conflict. All right, Marsha. Marsha lost a good friend due to this. She tried to help her. She was way not ready. It's that person you talked with who took up the whole session avoiding one question. You warned me and I thought I could help. Nope. So you're saying I know who you're talking about. There's I think I remember. It was a while ago, Marsha, right? Yes. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they, if you're trying to tell them that I know your intentions are good, but please don't give me advice that I didn't ask for or something like that. Sometimes you have to, separate yourself from them if they just really can. If their fear and their judgments are putting a lot of negative and a lot of toxic energy on you eventually, and you try to set limits, sometimes we try to set limits with the other person and we just have to, that's wrong. Like we keep asking them to respect our limits. We keep asking them to respect our limits. They're in their own agenda. And right now fear is so high. Do not expect anyone to respect your limits. Set them yourself and don't let anyone cross them. It's totally different. Stop asking people, please, is my limit. Just set it. Don't let anyone cross it. You could definitely do that. Just be like, not available. Okay, the person was very toxic. Her impact on me was not good, but she really needed, I'll put that up here. Okay, this person was very toxic. Her impact on me was not good, but she really needed our friendship. I would have kept being her friend. I apologized and she wouldn't have it. When is the right time to leave? The right time to leave, yeah, you try a few times. And if it's hurting you so much, that's the time to leave. When you've tried to negotiate and it's just you doing the negotiation, then it's time to leave. It's time to just send them out with love. And that means like in your head, talk to their higher spirit. And then, you don't have to be available. Also, when you're trying to give person a benefit of the doubt or you're trying to save the friendship, you also could be in that friendship without taking that toxicity in the beginning. When you're trying to give them a little bit of time, you could still be in that friendship, but that's the limits you set. You don't take that toxicity in. Being in a relationship with them doesn't mean you have to take that in. Yes, they're affecting the field like we're talking about, and you could feel that and you have to do some stuff. And when it gets like, this is too much work for me, that's when you have to step back. And sometimes they come back and sometimes not. Yeah, when you set this, so Marsha says she set the boundary and she's mad. Of course. people like that, really need you and want you. And so when you set that limit, it feels like a huge rejection. And it's not a rejection at all, right? When we set limits on somebody, it is not a rejection. It is just trying to, like boundaries and limits, protect the other person too. Protect you, protect the other person, let them know what they can do, what they can't do. But somebody who's narcissistic will freak out with any limitation you set. Jack, hi. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi. Miss you. You know what I'm talking about too. All right, well, if no one has any questions, I'm so glad to have you all here. And I'm so glad to have everybody who's going to come and be here in the replay. Please continue to say hello, make a comment, tell me what's up, tell me what you need, and go ahead and grab my MP3, jodiam.com/letgo. Thanks, Marsha. Yeah, when people say it's rejection, it's them gaslighting you, right? It's a way that they're gaslighting you. They're saying that you're rejecting them. I said that on my feed last week. I was saying gaslighting needs you to believe it for it to work. So just stop believing it. When people gaslight you, no, it's gaslighting. Don't believe it. It only works when you have that doubt that maybe they're right. Right? Okay. So, all right, everybody. I will see you next week. I'm so happy to spend this time with you. Please keep commenting on all my posts, and we'll just stay connected as the week goes on. All right, and I'll see you. But in the meantime, you know what to do. Be present and let that you want to be shine through.